Kick-Ass Witch, putting the K in magic. I'm Joanna DeVoe, and you're watching a video about shadow work. It's actually the first of several videos I'm going to make about shadow work because fall is the perfect time to delve into the shadow and do a little bit of reflection on the year that just passed, and also on just any issues that might have come up for you or that have been coming up for you long before this year even began. Another reason for doing this series is that at the beginning of November, I'm going to be launching a new program called A Psycho-Spiritual Guide to the Wheel of the Year. And if you know me, if you've been watching my videos for a while, you probably have put together that I take a psycho-spiritual approach to living. And if you don't know what psycho-spiritual means, it just means psychology meeting spirituality. And I think that the wheel of the year, following the seasons of our life as the year progresses, is just so rich with symbolism that it's a great way to do a lot of goal setting and to really get in touch not just with nature but with the deeper parts of yourself and to make each year really count. It's a program that I did alone this year all by myself, and I was kind of writing it and creating it as I went along, and it worked beautifully, and there would be no Kick-Ass Witch without it. It actually helped me launch this business and keep it going, so I'm pretty enthusiastic about the whole thing. The problem is that the program starts on Yule, Christmas, New Year. We're going to be launching 2013, and I'm hoping to help you make 2013 the best, most kick-ass year of your life, especially because there's so much like doomsday information all over the internet about how it's the end of the world. I say we fly in the face of that and we make it the best year of our lives. So because we're starting with Yule or Christmas, we're going to be missing the shadow work part that I'm recommending people do in the fall. So I thought I would give you a little jump start on that, since that's actually how the Wheel of the Year program is going to end in 2013. We'll do some of that now together through these videos so that we can feel very clear and refreshed and ready to get to work on creating a kick-ass new year. Before you can do any kind of therapeutic shadow work, you have to be able to not only know what the shadow is, but recognize your own shadow. So this very first video is going to be 3 kick-ass magic tricks for bringing your shadow into the light. And I just want to mention that just because your shadow is something that is in the dark and something that you're trying to bring to light, that does not necessarily mean that it is negative. Many positive aspects can be hiding out in your shadow. In fact, some of these aspects could be the key to living the kick-ass life of your dreams and to really stepping into yourself as a full, authentic person. Carl Jung, who I'm sure most of you are familiar with, he is the psychoanalyst who coined the term the shadow, said that the shadow is the person you'd rather not be. It's the parts of yourself that you hide, deny, disguise, judge, repress, the parts of yourself that you find embarrassing, and oftentimes we don't even know they're there. So you can't really just sit down and be like, what parts of myself don't I like? What am I hiding? You actually have to kind of approach shadow work like a mystery, and it's an ongoing mystery. You don't do shadow work once and you're done with it. It is a lifetime process, and that's why I think it's great every fall to take stock and revisit this and do some more shadow work and unearth what came up for you that year so that you can have a nice, fresh, clean start for the year ahead. I will make a video about how the shadow is formed, but just in brief, it's formed alongside your ego. You are born without an ego and without a shadow, and these two things are created as you grow and develop, and your family and then the school system and then society and even TV teaches you how to be in the world and what is unacceptable about you, and it's often done for your protection. So anytime you are shamed or embarrassed or told that's not nice when you were a little boy or little girl, a part of you took whatever the behavior was that was being chastised and put it into the shadow for safekeeping and to keep it out of sight so that you could be perceived as a good little boy or girl. I don't want to get too much into that except for to again emphasize that the shadow is not all bad. But that by not embracing your shadow and not bringing it into your light, it might prevent you from living the life of your dreams or from even just being an authentic person. You'll see this sometimes in families that really value money, career, education, intellect. If they have a very artsy, creative child, they might, in an attempt to prevent him from wasting his life or making a fool of himself or never being able to support himself, they might mock him or even forbid him from pursuing his more creative ideas and artsy pursuits just out of fear because they worry for him. And so he might naturally be a dancer or a painter or a writer, but because these things are seen in our society as not having as much value or not being as much of a sure thing as being a lawyer or a doctor or even a teacher, he might be put down for that and even laughed at for trying, especially a man trying to be a dancer. He's going to get a lot of heat from his peers in school. And the shadow comes up a lot around homosexuality, which being a dancer reminds me of for some reason that you probably understand. Many male dancers are gay, and I think that's because they are people that are comfortable with their feminine side. And everybody has within them both the masculine and the feminine, but a lot of times for men that are raised by very macho men or men who want to be macho themselves, they stuff that femininity down inside. It's very embarrassing to them. They will not cry. They will not show any weakness. And often these people will become very, very homophobic. That homophobia is their shadow. It is the more feminine aspects of themselves that they have denied and projected onto other people. Another positive aspect that might be beneficial to you to bring into the light is natural curiosity. Maybe you drove your parents nuts asking why, and they finally got so sick of you saying why, they would just snap at you and get you to shut up and stop questioning things so much. Because I said so. It could be your intuition or an uncanny ability to tell the truth, which in turn makes other people feel uncomfortable or embarrassed. So of course they're going to put an end to that just as fast as they can, especially if you're outing their shadow. And so the cycle just continues. It can be anything really. It could be your enthusiasm and your joy that people find really uncomfortable, your silliness. It could be your success. You could be embarrassed of having a lot of money or coming from a family from money. You might have become an airhead or overly sexualized yourself and kind of just played dumb because you were humiliated or put down or people rolled their eyes at you for being the smart girl. And so maybe being intelligent is something that you've actually tried to downplay in your life. And of course, it's all the things that we deem bad as well. Our bitchiness, our judgmentalness, our impatience, our anger, our rage, all those things that I think most people associate with the shadow are clearly, they're all in there. They're in all of us. We all have these light and dark aspects of ourselves. So here are the 3 ways that you can start to identify your shadow, and I hope that you will put these into practice so that by the next video you'll kind of have a grasp on what some of your shadow issues might be. Number 1, I like to call mirror work, and that's when you're paying attention to yourself and you're being very mindful of the judgments that you make on other people. So you're using other people as kind of a mirror to see your own shadow. So what would that look like? That would be like if you're a woman and another woman walks into a party in a really low-cut, skin-tight tight, flame red dress with tons of makeup on and high heels, you might immediately judge that woman as being a tramp, a hoe, desperate for attention, and it might really push your buttons and give you a little emotional charge. When you notice yourself making a judgment like that, you can start to ask yourself, where in my life might I be a little bit slutty, or might I need to be a little bit slutty, or why is this so upsetting to me? What buttons is this really pushing in me? Why do I care if this girl is slutty? Why do I care if she's dressing like a floozy? Why does that bother me so badly? It could be a judgment that you have on rich people. You might see somebody with money, and before you even hear them opening their mouth, you see them getting out of their fancy car and their fancy clothes, and you already have a judgment on them. You already think that they're greedy, that they're liars maybe, or that they're even just really bad people. That is your shadow showing itself to you. You have a shadow around money that you can start to work on. So anytime you are judging or criticizing someone in your mind, try and take a step back and observe that for a minute, and you will be doing step 1, mirror work. Step 2, and this one is actually probably the easiest step if you're willing to get really honest with yourself, and that's just look for the repeat issues in your life. The issues that come up again and again and again for you. It might be a different man in a different set of pants, but he's causing you the same kind of problems. Or it might be a different job and a new set of coworkers, but you're having the same issue that you had at your last job. Maybe you just can never ever get on top of your spending, and no matter how many New Year resolutions you set, or how many books you read, or how many programs you implement, you cannot get a handle on your spending. Addictions. Addictions are huge clues. That is your shadow screaming and shouting at you. Any repeat issue is. So that's number 2. And number 3 is triggers. Again, this is just about being mindful throughout your day and noticing anytime anything provokes you into an extreme emotional reaction, or even into lashing out, or some really impulsive behavior that then you later come to regret or feel guilty about or worried or embarrassed over. Those are clues that you have just been triggered. Anytime you're saying to yourself, God, why did I say that? That was so stupid. Oh my God, how embarrassing. How could have I let myself have gone there? That is when you know, something triggered me. What triggered me? What was that? What made me have that reaction? And just answer that question for yourself at this stage, just while you're recognizing your shadow and trying to bring it into the light. Before you even do any shadow work, just be mindful of yourself throughout the day and notice anytime anything triggers you. It could be someone cutting you off in traffic and you have a huge reaction instead of just being like, whatever, dude, you know, letting him go about his way. You are like swearing, or you're pissed, or you just feel your blood pressure rising. Why? Why? Do you have an issue with people being selfish, or perhaps an over-concern with other people threatening your safety? That is your opportunity to bring that shadow into light. All the triggers are. That is the gift in a trigger. So to recap, number 1 is mirror work. Be mindful of the judgments and criticisms you're making on other people. Number 2 is repeat issues. Just take an afternoon or an evening to really take stock of your life and to think about problems that keep popping up in your life again and again and again. Maybe wearing a different dress, but it's the same old problem. And number 3, triggers. Again, just be mindful during your day to any time something really provokes a reaction in you. And then I will be back in a couple of days to talk about how to begin to do the shadow work after you've actually recognized what your shadow or shadows, we all have many, what they are. Much love. Peace. Oh, and before I go, peace. Peace. This is the way to peace. I often say much love, peace. Shadow work is beautiful in bringing peace into your life. I really believe that it is the key to lasting internal peace. So don't be afraid of going into the dark. Oh, and the neighbor's lawnmower just stopped. I think that's a good sign. I wish it had happened before I shot this video. Much love. Peace.